became a slugfest the last half of the fight. But the most important part was he controlled. You seen how he was working his left hand. He was working that jab, working that left hook. He was working that. He won. To me, the third, fourth, the fifth, and sixth. He won it was just using his left hand. He out jabbed them by a mile in doing those rounds.
As a trainer, what did you make of Conor's start? Because he seemed like he was bouncing around a lot. There was a lot of energy at the start. What did you make of Conor Benn's start? He seemed to come out very quick in the first 3 rounds.
That's the reason Chris did what he did, because everything we did was a counter for Conor Benn style. That jab was a counter for Conor Benn style. You see, the jab stopped him. That's what it was all about.
Surprised that Ben was able to take the power coming from Eubank.
No, because roughly they both the same size. People looking at the weight classes, they both roughly the same size. One taller, one shorter. One a lot thicker and muscle, one just a little taller and a little slinkier. Relatively, they both almost the same size. Look at the structure of their body. Chris just taller, and yeah, he can make 160 pretty easy. But clearly, Conor been fighting middleweights since he was a welterweight. So it's not that big of a difference.
What did Ben do well tonight? Conor Benn.
Conor, what he did well tonight? He stepped on the gas and kept coming forward. He tried to. Conor fought his fight. Very tough guy. Very tough guy. And he did it. I just feel he did a wonderful job.
Did you expect your man to come on strong in the last half of the fight? Because it seemed like, the last 6 rounds, Chris came out really strong.
We trained for a 12-round fight. That's what we trained for. We trained for a 12-round fight. And I knew he was ready for a hard 12-round fight. We trained for a hard 12-round fight. And that's what we got ready for, a hard 12-round fight.
Is this the best you've seen from Eubank?
Since I've been in his corner, yes.
We know there's a rematch clause. How do you see the rematch going?
Hopefully not like this.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, it was tooth and nail battle. It was a hard battle. Now they know each other. Now we could go back to the drawing board. We could dissect some more, and we could come up with a game plan that's going to allow him to do more hitting than get hitting, and possibly get a stoppage.
I know you believe you won, of course, but do you think the scorecards was a little wide? Was a fight closer than the scorecards would suggest?
A little closer. It wasn't unanimous. I thought it was a little closer, but I had no doubt. I'm judging it in my mind. I had no doubt that he won, but I just didn't think that it was that wide of a margin. Just my opinion. I'm not a judge, but I know Matchroom hated it, but.
Just a final one for myself. When did you find out about Chris Eubank Sr. making an appearance tonight? Because I shocked a lot of people.
I can't answer that question.
You can't answer that.
Knowing your fighter and all the talk about Senior being in the corner, not being in the corner, how do you believe it affected him to have his father ringside?
One or two things. It didn't affect him because he always knew he was going to be there, or it shocked him because he didn't know he was going to be there. Which one is it?
I know you're not looking after Ben, but after what we saw tonight, would you suggest that the rematch take place? And are you going to accept the rehydration clause, all the same terms, or now that Conor has lost the fight, does he lose some leverage in the negotiation?
Why not make it the same way? If you go run it back the same way. I don't see a problem.
You think he should, though? I mean, because what Senior said about Ben, that it's killing the fighter, it's too much weight for him and so forth. If you were advising Ben, would you tell him to go back in there with Eubank?
Well, if his father thinks it's too much for him, tell him to move on. He won't get a bigger fight nowhere else. But tell him to move on. Unfortunately, boxing is about moments. And the moment you get a big fight, sometimes you got to seize it because there's no guarantee in your career you'll get another one.
Last one from me. We know that this is a massive win for Eubank, but he's never won a world title. Do you believe that he can do that before retiring? And if so, what do you see as his path to a world championship?
I believe he can. Yeah, I believe he can. He never won multiple world titles. I still believe the IBO is a world title. I know everybody take a dump on the title, But Roy held it, he loved it. Lennox held it, he loved it. The WBO was considered a non-starter when everybody was grabbing that, and the same media said, "Oh, that's no title." When in the States, if you won the WBO, that's just European title. That don't mean nothing. And now look at it. Thanks to Vladimir Klitschko and Layman Brewster, they made the title huge. That title was a non-starter until they fought for it. And once Layman Brewster won it, it became popular all of a sudden. It's just a matter of who's holding it. Meaning how popular the fighter doesn't mean the title is going to be.
You know what? Actually, one more. What does this win mean to you? I mean, you're